Finally, oh my goodness, couldn't get the stream started, but finally I managed to do it. Welcome, chat. Welcome to the show. We're going to be talking about Kanye East. No, I'm not going to say it because the algorithm is ever vigilant, just waiting for me to give it a reason. I saw a lot of people that uploaded his video get their channels nuked, and it's fascinating because the video actually has millions of views. And this is what I don't understand, right? Like, if millions of people want to see it, like, that's the size of a small country. Why are a couple of individuals more important than millions of people? Like, whoever are the gatekeepers, and I'm not talking about the corporations, right? Because, like, the corporations, they operate on a profit basis. And basically, they're thinking, okay, well, this music album can give us money, but there's these activists, right? Like these people that aren't doing it for money, they're doing it ideologically, that are threatening us with soft power. And so my question is, like, why is society allowing the activists? Like, why don't we do activism to the activists? That's what I don't understand, right? Like, what? Why are the activists allowed to function without pressure? Why are they the only ones that can put pressure on corporations, but there are other activists putting pressure on the activists putting pressure, right? Like, do you see what I mean? And so I was wondering what exactly happened in my country that people valued free speech. And I think, like, after the fall of communism, we didn't have the concept of being called a racist, because in Romania, most people are of the same ethnicity. We had the concept of being a censor. Like, accusing someone of censorship was the exact same thing as accusing someone of racism, and I think, like, I grew up with this mentality, and to me it's disgusting, it's abhorrent. What Kanye West did isn't as disgusting as the people trying to censor him, if that makes any sense. Like, I generally don't care about the issue. If you're trying to censor someone, even if you're on my side, even if you're on the left or on the right, or you're doing it for whatever reason, unless you're censoring someone that's a censor, like unless you're censoring someone that goes around trying to shut people down and destroy businesses, I think you're a piece of shit. And if everyone thought like me, I think we would actually have a much, I wouldn't say better society, but at least a society where people are held accountable. And more importantly, you have more creative freedom and more interesting shit to watch for entertainment. Now, regarding the Kanye West song, I already talked about it. My point is that people don't read the lyrics. A lot of people just listen to the Nazi rhetoric, and they think that's what the song is. And the reality is that, well, that's the dressing. That's to get your attention. Because in a world where you have rap songs that constantly use slurs, constantly glorify violence, constantly glorify crime, the only way to get attention is to talk about the mustache man. And so the idea is kind of like a gotcha game, right? Like, you see the fat tits and ass, and you're playing the gacha game, and then you realize, oh, well, there's actually some gameplay to it, there's actually some story, the personality of the characters is interesting, right? So, like, that's the way gacha games get you, using tits and ass, and the way Kanye West gets you is using slurs and talking about Hitler. And once you're there, you realize what the music is actually about. It's about him having his kids taken away. And despite the fact that he's got money and fame, no one can get his kids back. Now, the interesting part is that a lot of people say, well, he deserves it. Right? I got a lot of people on Twitter asking me, well, why did he get his kids taken away? And my response to that is, well, if you want to know why his kids got taken away, you should watch a MGTOW channel. Oh, wait, you can't because it's censored. Right? So, like, what is the song complaining about? The censorship. He's complaining that he is censored. And when people say, well, why is he being censored? Well, he's upset. Why? Because he got his kids taken away. Why did he get his kids taken away? Well, you would know, but the channels that tell you are censored. right? So we're going full circle. Now, the other interesting thing is that some people, and I don't know Kanye West's private life. Like, I'm not the type that goes into celebrity gossip. I don't know what he did. I don't know what caused him to lose his kids. But to be honest, I don't care. What I do care is that no one is asking the question, but is his wife perfect though? Right? Because everyone is like, well, he lost his kids, like, look what he did. And no one brings his wife into the conversation. Like, is she Miss Perfect? I generally don't know, by the way. Like, maybe she is. Maybe she is a nice woman. Maybe she is the best mother on planet Earth. But, like, someone has to ask the question at some point, right? Like, if there's a divorce between people, what if, and I'm just saying, both of those people are pieces of shit, right? Is it possible? Like, can you have a marriage where both people are bad people? Why do we always assume that the person we're talking about is the only one in the universe, right? And it's like, well, Kanye did this. And if you try to talk about, well, what about his wife? Whataboutism, whataboutism. It's like, no, it's not whataboutism. It's called context, right? Because you're talking about who gets the child. And you're saying Kanye West is a piece of shit so he can't get the kids. It's like, okay, well, who gets the kids then? The wife. Can we talk about her personality? No, because that's whataboutism. And so, I'm sorry, but that's not critical thinking. That's just ideological bias, which is pretty much what the song is about. Like, now, even if the woman is a perfect lady, okay, like a pillar of the community, the problem that we still have is that the man has his kids taken away. And so, unless he's a child molester, unless he's, an abusive person, I can understand why he's upset about that, right? Like, even when you do something that's bad, like you have a bad personality, Nick Riqueta. Okay, Nick Riqueta, perfect example, right? Like, I can, at the same time, in a situation like Nick Riqueta, not him, but like in a situation similar to his, I can also say that both things are true. I can say that the person deserves the punishment, but also I can understand why the person is upset for losing their kids. Because every human being on planet Earth is upset about losing their kids, right? Like, even if you actually do something bad, like let's say you end up in prison, or you're doing drugs, or you're drunk, or whatever, you will still be upset about losing your kids. Now, when that happens, what does the person need? Well, I don't know if I'm like Jesus, okay? I didn't reach that level. But I do have compassion for people. I think that every single person does need a social life. Even if they're bad people, even if they're good, they need the social life, right? Now, I'm not going to be there for them, because as I mentioned, I'm not Jesus. It's not my responsibility to be there for them. But like, maybe there are some people out there that are compassionate for his situation. And so why does he get banned? Why is he not allowed to communicate and network with other individuals that may give him a kind word, that may actually try to get him on the right path? Why is he banned from that? And so, because he is banned, he has become a Nazi. And that's what the song is about. Now, the interesting thing about the song is that when I first heard it, I thought it's going to be some edgy song. I generally thought it's going to be, something that people talk about for a week and then forget it. I did expect that it's going to be banned. And it was, like, almost every single major platform has banned it. Even YouTube has yeeted it. Did you get it? Kanye, yeet. Anyway. What ends up happening is that now the song is insanely popular. Like, I heard it in real life in a Uber in Romania. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, this is now a cultural phenomenon. And I see videos being shared on Twitter with jazz bands playing it. I see videos with people in Taiwan playing it. It's an insanely popular thing. And so, believe it or not, very unlikely, but one day political correctness is going to go away. Okay? It's just not natural. It's a cycle. Like you have this period of sanitization that existed before, and after a period of sanitization, you have a period of edginess. When, if you guys remember the internet between 2008 and all the way up until 2016, right? Like 8 years of pure unadulterated edginess. Like you have the early days of 4chan. You have like the two girls, one cop shit. You got like everything under the sun specifically designed to get a reaction out of people, right? Like the internet was the most vile place imaginable, and it was fucking awesome. The whole purpose of the internet was to upset people, to get a reaction out of them, right? Now the internet is all about sanitization, all about policing. It gets to the point where you're policing people's thoughts, right? But like, what do you think about it? Do you think? Do you believe? Right? Like these are questions that people ask, and so this is normal. Like it was expected that we will reach a period of sanitization, but just like you reach a period of sanitization, you will reach another period of edginess again. Like the internet is going to become what it, probably not what it used to be. It's going to have a different form, right? And so the question is, how will that happen? How will the political correctness wall get destroyed? And I think it's going to take music like Kanye West. But I don't think it's going to be like Kanye West himself, right? But if you are to have like 5 or 6 Kanye Wests releasing similar popular songs one after another, eventually one of the big corporations will cock. Eventually one of the big companies will go, shit, okay, well, we're allowing him in. This was very similar to what happened with Donald Trump, right? If you guys remember, back in 2020, massive censorship of Donald Trump. Like, he was the most censored person on planet Earth. He was banned on Twitch, despite the fact that he never made a video, and I think, like, he's still banned on Twitch. He got banned on Reddit, got banned on Twitter, got banned on YouTube. Like, every single platform banned Donald Trump. And then what caused Donald Trump to come back was Elon Musk buying Twitter. So Elon Musk buys Twitter, and he goes like, yeah, okay, we're going to allow Donald Trump back. And then Facebook adds him, and then YouTube adds him, right? And so this is how it happens. Like, you once there's a huge movement and platform realize that there's massive profitability, they do a risk assessment, and they go, okay, what can the activists do to us? Like, what is their pressure? How much people can they raise against us? And if the answer is like, we actually upset more people if we keep the ban, that's when platforms tell the activists to go fuck themselves, right? And so this is what's happening now with Kanye West. Like, despite the fact that Kanye West is being suppressed by all the major platforms, his song is still getting millions of people. And I'm willing to bet there are individuals out there at Spotify that are looking at it and they're thinking, okay, he's getting millions of people while suppressed. He could probably get tens, if not hundreds of millions on our platform. We're losing a lot of money. Right? Now, the thing is, if it's just one Kanye West, they don't really care. Yeah, sure, they're losing some money. It is what it is. But if there would be like 10 or 15 Kanye West, like that can reshape the internet. Thank you, Luton, for the 20 Swedish kroners and the 1 like. And I think if you look at the past, right? Like back in the day, there was a moral panic in the United States about violence in fiction. The United States has always dedicated itself with policing fiction. I don't fucking know why. It's bizarre. But anyway. And so anything that was violent, especially if it had blood, they would put an age rating on it. They would freak out. They would treat it as extreme taboo. And then South Park comes out, and like South Park is brutally murdering Kenny. Like every single episode, the rats are biting his throat, and they're pulling his head away. He's getting impaled. Like some of the worst cartoon graphical depictions of a kid getting murdered was in South Park. And so that caused an actual shift in the market. A lot of people liked South Park. A lot of people absolutely loved it, and it made a lot of money. And after that, like more people tried it, more people experienced with it, and it created an entire genre of over-the-top cartoon violence. Like South Park wasn't just the only one, and you had like TV shows that started to become extremely violent, and then violence became normalized. Hey, Donor. Violence just became normalized. It became everywhere. And so I think this is what's going to happen. Eventually, you're going to have more Kanye Wests releasing shit that's edgy, and it's going to be liked by millions. And if you have like 5 or 6 of these things released in rapid succession, then it becomes popular enough for one of the major platforms to unban it. And if they don't, then some underground niche platform is going to grow and it's going to become like them. Look at an example with Nexus Mods. So Nexus Mods, I think, is a great example of this because they decided to go ideological and they are banning any single mod that adds pronouns. And so there's, many people that have a demand for mods that ban pronouns because of spite, pretty much. I can explain why people don't like pronouns in a bit, but the whole idea is that you now have Nexus Mods realizing that they are losing subscriptions, they're losing people, and other platforms are gaining tractions over a shitty ideological mod. So they now have to backtrack in order to keep control. They have to go, you know what, fine, ban the pronouns, holy shit, right? Even though Nexus Mods is incredibly ideological and is staffed with all the correct good people, they have to backtrack because at the end of the day, there's just too many people. Now let's talk a little bit about pronouns, right? Because J.K. Rowling is also in the news. Apparently, she's not fighting one of her actors for signing a petition where they support trans people. Okay. Give me a second. I need to drink some coffee. My throat was parched. Those 20 kronas didn't do anything. Anyway. Why is there, right now, a massive push against trans people, right? How did it get from extreme tolerance? Like, I just want to point out, do I have any trans people in the chat? Huh? Are there any trans people? Because I want to talk about trans issues. I want to talk about trans issues. Chat. There must be some individuals. No, I don't have any trans people. Holy shit, I'm not diverse enough. I'm not going to get my ESG loans. Can one of you pretend to be trans? All you have to do is identify. No, furries are not included. Furries are gay. They're not trans. Or are they trans? Huh? Do we have trans furries? Anyway, I want to talk about trans people. How do you get from reaching levels of acceptance that I never dreamed that trans people will reach, right? You gotta understand how things used to be back in the day. So if you grew up in the 90s, right? If you were a politician and they found out you're gay, your career was over. And gayness was something like they like to call it the LGBT umbrella. But the reality is, there's like different levels of LGBT acceptance that you can go through. So the most accepted were the lesbians. I have never personally heard, like I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but like personally I've never heard a lesbian being discriminated for being a lesbian. Like if a woman was a lesbian, most people would find it either hot or other women would get upset. But like normally speaking, a lesbian was being accepted in the 90s, right? Like maybe their family or close friends would be like, I don't know. But like in the 90s, lesbians were pretty much universally accepted. Some people found them, I can't say mysterious, but like interesting enough. It's like, oh, she's a lesbian. I want to talk to her. Oh my goodness, right? Bisexual people. Now, if you are into the realm of bisexualness, and you are a man, then that was a little bit problematic, right? Like that became problematic, especially if you are in a religious community. But even at school, you'd get bullied. Like it was something bad, right? In the 90s, like it wasn't viewed as something okay. You had gay conversion therapy, like a lot of parents would send you to Jesus camp. Well, wasn't a fun time. Certain like if your employer was a Christian, they may not give you a job over there. If you were a politician, you may lose backers, you may lose sponsors, right? So if you are gay or bisexual, it was pretty difficult. Now, if you are trans, holy fucking shit. Like, if you were trans in the 90s, that was radioactive. Like, there was no support, no, outside the LGBT community. And even then, like, I remember, even amongst the furries, right? Like, even the furries, if you were to say that you are trans to a furry, they may be like, oh, I'm not going to yiff with you. I'm describing reality, chat. I'm not casting moral judgment. I'm just saying how things used to be, right? And so, to go from that to the point where you're socially accepted, and not only that, but you have representatives in the government, and you have corporations hoisting your flag, and you have corporations that are actually considering hiring trans people to fit a quota. Like, the level of acceptance, right, off the charts. I don't think that there's anything else like it where you have something that society is trying to actively suppress and is disturbed by, and then you go from that in a couple of years to not acceptance but embracing and promoting, right? Like huge accomplishments for the activists, like massive accomplishments de facto, right? Like if we don't look at the ideology and we just look at the competence and the ability to take something in society that most people disliked and turn it into something that people want. I mean, it takes a lot of skill to do that, right? It takes a lot of social engineering. Anyway, how do you get from that to where we're now? Like, how do you get from the pariah to the glorification to the point where now people are yet again starting to dislike trans people? Because if you look at polling, if you look at online space, you will notice that acceptance is down. And how does that happen? And I think I actually spent a lot of time trying to think about it and how to phrase it in a way that I don't get banned. Because this is still a delicate subject, right? Like the plebs are changing, but the corporations are the same. And so, like, how do I explain why is it that on Twitter you get banned for misgendering and now AOC removes her pronouns, right? Like, how do you get from place A to place B? And I think the explanation is like this, and a lot of people may not like to hear it, but most people don't have trans individuals in their life, okay? Like, unless you're in San Francisco, if you're in Europe or in Eastern Europe, you probably don't know trans people at all. The only trans people that you interact with are content creators, activists, or maybe you see some in the media. But that's pretty much it, right? Like, most of the interactions that people have with trans people are with content creators. And so most of them, at least from my take, are male to female. All right. And most content creators, in order to get clout, they also do activism. And so the type of trans people that most people interact with are the activists and the loud ones. And you notice that these individuals that are constantly doing activism, they're trying to suggest, and this is the vibe I get, like, please tell me if I'm wrong. But the vibe that I got from the activist trans community is that they are not happy. In fact, they're extremely aggressive if society doesn't bend to their will. Like, these are individuals that cannot just live and let live. Like, they're not happy if they were to make a community and just live inside that community according to their customs. And no, if there is a single person on planet Earth that doesn't use the pronouns, they're not happy. And they justify any type of tactic, any type of abuse, any type of disproportionate response in order to crack down on that person. Am I wrong? Like, this is the vibe that I'm getting. And it culminated with that Wizards game. I think that Wizards game was the point of no return. So, like, J.K. Rowling's gives her IP rights. Like, she's not even making the game, right? She gives her IP rights to another company, which makes a Harry Potter game. And then you have the activists from that community going after VTubers, like actual women in real life that were just playing the game, and they go after and they try to crack down on them, and they try to intimidate, dox them, harass them. And so, like, what message are you sending to people, right? Like, in order for you to be happy, you need to have full control of a society down to the minute level of what other games people play. And they even went after their allies, like Silverveil. She was an actual trans supporter. Like, she was pro-LGBT. She's a leftist. She supports all that shit. And they went after her really hard, made her cry. And it's like, dude, you're burning goodwill. The Christians burned goodwill, and they had more popularity than you. You can't, like, any type of group, it doesn't really matter. In the West, right? Like, we're not talking about totalitarian countries. We're not talking about North Korea. We're not talking about, like, other cultures. But, like, usually in individualist cultures, which the West is, where people care more about themselves first and foremost, if you create a group that cannot live in a society unless the entire society bends to your will and bends to your morality, whether they share it or not, whether they like you or not, like, they have to submit, your group is getting fucked within 5 years. It's not sustainable. You cannot expect the entire human race to bend over to your demands. It just doesn't fucking happen. Now, what you can do is you can create your own community with your own like-minded people, and you can just live there and tolerate others, and others will tolerate you. That used to be the thing back in 2012 all the way to 2016, right? But the moment you demand that every human being on planet Earth follows your values, your principles, there's no exception, you're fucked. 5 years tops. This is what happened with the woke. This is what happened with the hyper-religious fanatics. This is what happened with the hippies. This is what happened with the people before the hippies. It's normal. Like no ideology, no moral value is going to be accepted universally by every single person. Even Christianity is not. Like, they have denominations. And so the moment you try to become a problem for the entire human race, the human race is going to push back. And you don't have the numbers to fight against the human race. AJJ, so glad I never supported any of this nonsense at all and have always been against it. I saw the real goal and where it was heading straight to our children. I can explain why it went to the kids. Okay? It's something that a lot of NGOs are struggling with, which is bureaucracy, right? Like, bureaucracy exists to maintain bureaucracy. It doesn't exist in order to fix problems. And so this is pretty much what's happening with activist groups. Like, activist group exists to support activist group. If they tangentially manage to do some good, fine. But most of the time, no, they don't care about that. And so let's assume you start an NGO to promote gay rights. Now, back in the 90s, what does it mean? Like, what does it mean to promote gay rights? Well, it means to have them not get discriminated, right? Like, you don't want gay people to get beaten up or to lose job opportunities, right? Like, that's your goal. And so, most people will agree with that, you know? They will be like, okay, you know, obviously, like, my kid can end up gay. It's true, you know, like, you don't know. You pull the gacha machine, like, gay people don't spawn from the ether, right? Like, your kid can end up gay. Okay, well, you don't want them getting bullied in school, right? You don't want them losing job opportunities, right? And so, no, you probably don't, Nightmare. If it's your kid, I guarantee to you, you don't. And so, a lot of people are, okay, well, that's reasonable, right? And then the activist groups go like, well, we were getting a lot of donations, right? We were getting a lot of support. They don't want to disband. Like, for many, it's a job opportunity now. It's a career, right? Like, they want to keep doing. They want to keep getting donations. And so they're like, okay, what's next? Gay marriage. Okay, let's go for gay marriage now. And they start promoting gay marriage. They get more donations. They get politicians that are on their side. And then they get the gay marriage. Okay, well, they got gay marriage. What do? Do they disband? No, they want to keep getting donations. But, like, no one is donating now because, like, gay marriage was accomplished. What do? Well, now they focus on something else. Let's focus on trans issues. Right? Let's get the ability for trans people to get medication and surgery. And let's focus so that companies hire more gay people and trans people. Let's go on the woke bandwagon with identity politics. You know, we can include our representative groups in diversity quotas, and we can advocate for that. Okay, so eventually you get that. And then you're like, well, shit, now what? And then you're like, okay, trans kids. Because there's nothing else. Like, you got everything. And so this is the thing with a lot of activist groups, right? This is why people were saying the slippery slope from gay marriage all the way. The slippery slope exists because the activist groups always need something to activist for, right? When they get that thing, they have to move on because otherwise they don't get donations. They don't get money. They don't get support. And so the only thing that they can do is to cross another line. And eventually, yeah, like they will say, yeah, we need trans kids. And with trans kids, it's going to be like it was first with trans teenagers, right? And then when they got the teenagers, it's like, no, prepubescent. And then you have like people advocating that, well, actually a 2-year-old can be trans. And it's like, how the fuck can a 2-year-old be trans? They barely understand how to speak. Right? And so this is how we got here. And it's also fun, you know, it's fun to be an activist. It's fun to cancel people. It's fun to ruin lives. Like, I'm not going to like it, because otherwise, why would people do it, right? Like, if it's not fun, do you think, like, people are doing it as a chore? You think people go on and go like, oh, I gotta cancel someone today. Oh, fuck me, you know, like, why do I have to cancel? You know, no, they love it. Why? It's dopamine inducing, gives you belonging, makes you feel part of a community. Makes you feel that you're standing up for something righteous. It's fun to cancel people. And so this is why it's being done, right? And being an activist is fun. And it doesn't, like, this is why you notice a lot of activists jumping ship and going from one ideology to another, from one culture to another, and they're still pieces of shit. Wherever they go, they latch on, and they're still assholes. It's because they're not interested in the ideology. They're just like, give me a target. But give me a target in a way that's socially acceptable, that's not going to upset a lot of people. Gooning and hating, two sides of the same dopamine coin. I think it feels a little bit different, but yeah, I would agree. Any ideology that power trips on the normies will lose power. I have to agree with that, to be honest. Ever since the French Revolution, I do have to agree. If you push the normies too much, if you try to control the normies too much, you're going to get backlash. Like, it's virtually impossible that won't happen. And honestly, you're fucking asking for it. Like, look at other communities that aren't doing that. You know, the Goth. The Goth people never fucked with anyone. And so, no, you know, they got bullied a little bit at the beginning, but like after that, the reason the Goth community died is because people lost interest and they moved on. But like, there was no massive push against the Goths. In fact, the people that pushed against the Goths, they're the ones that lost. They're the ones that became irrelevant once Obama got elected. Normies eventually wake up. The trans stuff went way too far. Well, it was the aggressiveness of it, right? The reason wokeness worked is because it actually pushed Christian messages. And Christian messages in the sense of compassion, empathy, turning the other cheek, tolerance, right? Like a lot of people would go to Bible school and they would hear these messages. I know that a lot of people find it cringe, and it's like, oh, wokeness and Christianity isn't the same, or being tolerant isn't Christian. Yeah, when I used to go to church, and when I used to go to my evangelical school, this is before wokeness, before the concept of wokeness even existed. What we were told is this: compassionate empathy, turning the other cheek, kindness. That's what Christianity used to be. I know on the internet right now it's not about that, you know. Like there's a lot of Twitter Christians that are completely not about that. But back in the day, that was what Christianity would say, you know, like you need to be compassionate, kind to others, love thy neighbor, treat others the way you'd like you know? That's how it used to be. And so when you have this other ideology, which was wokeness, and at the time it wasn't called wokeness, it was called social justice. And social justice, it's like, well, we need to be compassionate and tolerant and loving and blah, blah, blah. That was their PR. That is how they advertised themselves. And at the time, most people didn't know. Most people had no clue. They thought, oh, yeah, well, why not? I mean, it sounds good, right? And there was quite a few people, myself included, trying to pull the alarm signs and being like, hey, these guys aren't what they're claiming they are. They're actually really nasty people. Because, like, the thing is, like, on the surface, they pretended to be nice, compassionate, and empathetic. But then you'd see how they destroy lives. Then you'd see how they treat people that disagree with them. Then you see how they treat people that leave their cult. And you're like, holy shit, these people are monsters. I should show her Demolition Man. She likes anime. My goodness. Am I this boring? People are talking in the chat about a completely different subject. I want to bounce on the chat with an idea. I need to be quiet. I need to put music while I read the chat. Evangelical is a thing in Romania. I thought it was Orthodox instead. There was a school. A lot of people are bewildered by this. I think that in modern time, most people misunderstand statistics. Like, they think if something is the majority, then every single Romanian must be an Orthodox. But we do have minority religions here. Like, there are religions that aren't part of the majority. They exist. And so logic dictates that some Romanians, some people, are part of the minority. Even if it's a 0.1% minority, right? There's still people practicing it, so you could theoretically meet a Romanian that's into Taoism. But to answer your question, there was this private school. And this private school wasn't extremely expensive, but it was better than the public schools because it had a lot of teachers from all over the other schools. And I'm not going to complain. I think it was a really amazing school because that's how I learned critical thinking. It actually helped me a lot in life. But I went there. And they were evangelical, right? I didn't even know what evangelical means. To us, evangelicals was like some weird cult. Like, again, we didn't know, right? And a lot of Orthodox students went there. And by the time we finished, out of a class of 35 people, uh, only 3 of us left were Orthodox, and 2 of us, myself included, were atheists. Right? So, like, everyone else became evangelical. They were extremely pervasive and subversive in their attempt to Christianize, if you will, right? Like, evangelicals are incredibly aggressive when it comes to pushing their morality on you. And we had the whole shtick with the purity rings and other things that made me puke. But yeah, when it comes to how good the school was at teaching people, 10 out of 10. When it came, like, I saw evangelicals as extremely manipulative, extremely subversive, extremely disingenuous, and despite all that, they were also good people amongst each other. Like, if you're part of the clique, if you're part of the group, they would be very nice to you. But the moment you stepped out of line, the moment, like they weren't quick to forgive. I thought that Orthodox people are more quickly to forgive. But if you are an evangelical and they found out that, you know, you had sex outside of marriage or some shit like that, like they were really freaking out about sex. Anything that had to do with sex would set them off. And, you know, if you kissed a girl or that wasn't your girlfriend, or you hold hands with a girl that was your girlfriend, or you made a sex joke or anything like that, I was pretty acceptable with the Orthodox bros. Like, we didn't have that shit, a problem with it. But if you did it with the evangelicals, like, they would freak the fuck out. And they would never forgive. Like, once you were out, you were out. And the way it worked is that, theoretically, the religion allows for repentance and forgiveness, right? But they will just reject it. They will say, yeah, we don't believe it. You're faking it, you're lying, you're not... I never had a problem with that because I wasn't part of their group. And to be honest, I was playing World of Warcraft at the time, so I didn't really care about girlfriends and shit. But I would see, like, how they behaved toward other people that were in their group, and how they behaved when talking about the world. And they would really get upset about fiction. Like, fiction really tricked them off, right? Like, they hated Counter-Strike with a passion, and they also hated Bruce Almighty, the movie. It's like, just a fucking movie. Why are you acting like that? And so, anyway, is evangelical the same as Protestants? I think there's a connection there. Someone that knows better can... I think, like, evangelical is an offshoot of Protestantism, if I'm not mistaken. Because I think, like, Protestantism branches out into many other denominations. And so, evangelicals is just, like, one part of Protestantism, right? Not all Protestants are evangelicals, but all evangelicals are Protestants. And yeah, like the way they would subvert you and try to get you to convert. The teachers would give you smaller grades. They would be harsher if you are an Orthodox. The moment you were a born again, right? Like the moment you would go to their group, they had like an off-school extracurricular activity, which I found it absolutely cringe. It's like, dude, you're going to school, you're spending 8 hours of your life, and you have 4 more hours of homework. Why the fuck would you go to a Bible school for another 4 hours? But it was like a Bible reading shit. Anyway, the people that went there and they got born again, all of a sudden the teachers give them better grades. The teachers are a lot more lenient to them, right? Why I found evangelicals to be obnoxious. Constant pressure to go to the Bible class. When they would get in an argument with you, they would start giving Bible quotes. And I'm like, okay, just because you know how to quote the Bible doesn't make you intelligent, number one. Number two, I know that you deeply care about that shit, and now you're basically putting me in a position where I just shut the fuck up and pretend to agree with you, or I contradict you on that Bible quote, and then you get really upset. And I don't like arguing like that. You know, I don't like, we're talking about Counter-Strike and you're hitting me with Bible quotes. It's not like I can't say, you know, take that shit and stuff it up your ass. I don't fucking care. I'm going to play Counter-Strike, right? But if I do that, I know that you'll be extremely upset. And it's not that I'm upsetting you, I'm upsetting the whole class, and now the teacher may give me bad grades. So you're like literally bullying me with this morality of yours that I don't share. But you're trying to enforce it on me under punishment that if I don't believe, I get bad grades. So now I have to pretend, I have to be fake. Which is fine, I can be fake. I pretended for most of the years that I was there. But it felt disingenuous. I don't like to lie. But at the same time, I knew my interest at that school wasn't to impress or make friends. It was to pass and get good grades and get the fuck out, right? And so I had to live doing the thing that I hated the most, which is lying and pretending. It's like, oh, do you praise Jesus? Absolutely. Jesus is the main man. So yeah. My homeschool collective in Korea was on a Catholic ground owned by a local non-nursery. It was a Christian school. They never pushed Christianity. Catholics aren't like that. See, this is another thing that most people don't know. Not all Christians are the same. Okay? Not all Christians are aggressive in their proselytism. Not all Christians are obsessed with culture and obsessed with the idea that every single other person on planet Earth needs to share their wisdom. Catholics, they really depend on who's Pope. If you get the Nazi Pope, then you're fine. If you get the previous Pope, then they talk about environmentalism and why Trump is an asshole. It really depends on who's Pope in the Catholic Church, because that shapes their entire dogma, their entire worldview. Orthodox are probably the most chill. Vice just removed Kirche hit piece articles? No fucking way. I'll check. But anyway, right. Going back, the thing with Orthodox people, and this is my take, it really depends which Orthodox group you're talking about, because like the one from Moscow is different than the one from Russia, right? The one from Moscow is different than the one from Romania. The one from Moscow is more about nationalism and, pretty much doing what the government tells you. And this is because of their history. Like, there was a lot of purges from the priests during communist era, and then they were grateful to the new government that allowed them to have churches, whatever. In Romania, there's a lot of superstition. So, if you live in a community with Orthodox people, they don't really fuck with you unless you're related with them. And I think this is normal and healthy, right? So unless someone is your mom or dad or uncle or maybe a close friend or a neighbor, they don't really care. Like, you're not going to see an Orthodox person coming up to you and telling you how to live your life. The idea is that people find orthodoxy, right? Orthodoxy doesn't go and find you. There are exceptions, though. But most of the time, the Orthodox people just do their thing. They mind their own business. They mind their own families and their small communities. And they leave you the fuck alone. Now, if you're in the community, well, it depends if you're surrounded by fanatics or not. An Orthodox fanatic is a person that will complain if you're not fasting, will complain if you're not going to church. But other than that, like, they don't really complain about what video games you play or what music you're listening to. They do complain if you curse and you're taking the Lord's name in vain. They don't care if you read the Bible or not. They don't give a shit about that. But, like, fasting is very important, right? Or if you're working on a Sunday, that triggers them. Like, if they catch you working on a Sunday, that really upsets them. If you're disrespecting religious icons, like if you have a painting of Saint Peter and you don't place it in a position of honor in your house, like it's on the ground, or that really triggers them. Blaspheming triggers them. But again, like, most of the stuff, like if you're an alcoholic, they don't care. If you gamble, they don't care. If you watch violent movies, they don't care. If you watch porn, they don't care. But if you don't fast, if you don't make sure that you're not working during important church days, if you're not going to church, then they care, right? And they only care if you're tied to their family. Like if you're their nephew, if you're the son, if you're a brother, that's when they care. So yeah, you need to understand different Christian denominations behave in a different way. Not everyone is a Protestant, basically. My high school biology teacher was a creationist. She was really upset about the fact that we had to learn about human evolution. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past it. Again, stuff that's blaspheming triggers them, right? And unfortunately, evolution does blaspheme. It suggests that God didn't create man. And so this is why she was upset. Nunnery isn't the same as nursery. Nunnery is where nuns live. Oh, yeah, okay. My God. I think that's probably horrible. Like, holy shit. Like, going in a place where you have all these women that are pent up on hormones and with the deep, frustrated sexual desires. Dios mío. Like, I don't know why it's controversial, but, like, men have blue balls, right? And when a man has blue balls because he didn't masturbate, he becomes incredibly emotional and incredibly unhinged, right? The same shit happens with women. And so if you have women in a place that are single for life, I do think it does something to their, you know. I just say I'm glad I never did. Actually, if you look at the invention of the dildo, the invention of the dildo was to treat hysteria. Why is it called hysteria? Well, it's from uterus, the hyster, right? Because women were hysterical. And the doctors gave them a dildo. That's literally how the dildo came into being. Before it was a sex toy, it was a treatment. Like for women that are unreasonable, that are hysterical. Is it hot? Man, I don't know. I think it's hot if you actually don't know what a 35-year-old woman with pent-up issues behaves like. It's just... Human beings aren't meant to live like this, man. Like, human beings aren't meant to be single, and human beings aren't meant to live with only one gender. Like, human beings are meant to form societal bonds, which are balanced between men and women, like both genders. And they're meant to have a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a husband, and a wife. That they're not meant to be single. I know, like, religion makes some people be single, which is fine. But realistically speaking, no. No, it's not healthy. 100%. Lots of lesbo actually the nunnery. I don't know if that's the case. I wouldn't be surprised. I know for sure that monks do it. There's even Romanian poets and writers that lived in a monastery in order to find peace while writing. And they said, one of them, I think Mircea Eliade actually says, that the monks there were loving each other a little bit too much. And so, yeah, again, I'm not surprised. Human beings are not meant to be single. They're not meant to be celibate. Unless you have a medical issue, and unless you literally can't get it up, and you're not attracted at all, or you're before puberty, then most people want to fuck. And there's a reason why some people are gay in prison, but they're not gay when they come out. Now, I'm not saying every monk, I'm not saying every nun, but I don't think there is such a thing as a church or a monastery where not a single one, you know? If they lowered their standards, they wouldn't be pent up. Well, Slixian, like, here's the thing. With priests, I agree. There is absolutely no reason why a priest should be single. None whatsoever. And no religion that I know of, besides Catholicism, no other denomination has priests that are single. And even in Catholicism, like the first pope, right, Saint Peter, he had a wife. Like it's not in the Bible. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that priests have to be single. I think the reason they're doing it is because Catholicism back during the medieval time, it wanted to propagate religion, right? It wanted to just be able to pick up a priest like a soldier and deploy him somewhere else. And so it's a lot easier if you just have one priest rather than a family. Like if he's got a family and kids, uprooting his entire family and sending him to Norway to preach to the pagans is a logistical nightmare. And so they created this army of priests where they can just deploy priests wherever. But now I don't see the point. Now with monks and nuns, completely different. Completely different. It's a calling. Like that's the whole shtick. Right? Like that's literally the whole thing of why you have a monk or why you have a nun. And so I don't think that will go away. But it is what it is. The idea behind celibate priests is to avoid nepotism. Remember that Catholicism is more centralized. Yeah, that probably too. But to be fair, do you really get nepotism? I mean, look at the Orthodox Church, right? They marry. Is it really that nepotistic? I mean, more so than other places, right? Because, like, obviously nothing is 0% nepotistic. But, like, is the Orthodox Church more nepotistic than the academia? I don't think so. Is it more nepotistic than the actual government? Hell no. Oh, Zlixian meant women in general. I heard this idea that all women are lesbians. I don't think so. I don't think so because I meant women. And I had sorry, when I say I meant women, I meant I had ex-girlfriends that I was pretty fucking open with. And they told me all their fetishes and shit. And no, they're not attracted. Like, there are women that aren't attracted to other women. And the most interesting thing was with my animator. My animator, she would animate the sex scenes from a video game. And she got, like, really aroused by one of the succubuses. And I was like, dude, are you bi? And she's like, no, I'm not bisexual. I'm actually straight in real life, but, like, real women don't look like anime girls. I was like, oh. But, like, she had no reason to lie. Like, she could have told me. It's like, yeah, I would want to get between another woman's legs. But no, it was just, like, the art style. And so there are actual women that, well, they enjoy. And the thing is, like, I noticed that in the furry community as well. Like, you had the bisexual furries that like dragon cock and shit. And I would ask them, it's like, dude, are you gay in real life? And they would say, no, people don't look like furries. And so I think it's a little bit more complex, right? I know for sure that not all women are lesbians. And just by looking at what the person is interested in, like what their kinks and fascinations are online, doesn't necessarily translate to real life. I've heard this theory too, the idea that supposedly women are made harems. I will say this though. I don't think all women are lesbians, but I do think that in general, women are more likely to share a man than a man is to share a woman. And the reason I'm saying this is that you look at other cultures like Islam, where a person has like 3 or 4 wives, and you look at relationships in general, it's usually that the woman actually tolerates it more or is more understanding if the husband cheats than the other way around. I don't know why it is. Obviously, it's a statistic, right? Like, it's not every single case. But I did notice the pattern. Currently living with my wife and another woman, banging them both. Oh my goodness, you're going to make the people that don't bang anyone very jealous in this chat. How did you get to that situation, Big Bob? I said to an old friend that she likes men with long hair because she has a deep-seated need to sleep with a woman. The best part is that she is a Syrian Muslim and she was upset. Oh. If you tell that to conservatives women, I am not surprised. Have you heard about the dude that got arrested in the UK for burning a Quran? Didn't they do like Burn Muhammad Day just a couple of years ago? Did that change now? Yeah, Big Bob, they're not trans, are they? Anyway, I'm gonna end the stream here. Thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Gonna upload the videos on my other channels now. So hope I'll see you there. And